Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
Body greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. Cecilia, good to be on the show again. So much happening in our world of sports. I'm particularly excited that we have good reasons to keep talking about women's football development in Nigeria.
That's really key because the future is what? It's feminine, right? That's according to Sepp Blatter. Remember when he made that statement some time ago, and he's looking like that. And of course, you're going to be speaking with the Commissioner of Sport for Bayelsa State, what they're doing in Bayelsa Queens to ensure that. I mean, you mentioned that when you invest in women's football, you reap it. It's so easy. You can reap everything, and that's what Bayelsa have been doing. So we'll be talking with him to tell us more. I mean, how can you make Bayelsa Queens better? They can be better than this, right? They can sign players from the continent coming to Nigeria to play and be able to pay them. So we'll be talking about that, and also taking a look at the fallout from the triumph of Bendel Insurance, still celebrating their Federation Cup trophy. How are they looking forward to the continent? What they want to do to bring in new players. You talk about beefing up the team, and of course, we'll be talking to the chairman of the club and also Coach Monday Odigo, who had a very, very tough season. Also, touchdown on the NBA, the draft. The last time we had so many Nigerian players was 2020. We had so many Nigerian players. About 8 Nigerian players were drafted. Both the ones, of course, born over there and the ones are from here. But this time around, just one, Nanji, of course. He's been in the limelight because of that racism issue in Barcelona. But he also has been drafted, second-round pick, 31 overall. But that's a good one for Nanji. Yeah. We'll be talking about him. And, of course, the man of the moment. I mean, Victor name had been since last season. Everyone has been talking about him. Victor Wembanyama of the French boy, San Antonio Spurs, getting the #1 draft pick. The last time they did that with the likes of Tim Duncan, you know what happened? Those guys went on, gone blazing and winning all the trophies for San Antonio Spurs. So all the fans are looking forward to what Victor can bring to that franchise. Also, we'll talk about handball. The league is starting soon, and what the president is saying concerning what they want to do. And of course, talk about the Olympics, the touch when it will be lit. It's going to be in Greece next year in April. That's what the organizers are saying concerning the Olympics in 2024. So much to look forward to. But then, Austin, let's start off with the Naija Super 8. Yes, Naija Super 8. Remember when we started talking about that? The more the merrier. We want more competition, more tournaments for these teams to play. Even if you have to play 18 matches in the season. But when you have more, I mean, no one is going to complain about having an abridged season because you have other tournaments coming up, you know, for these teams to play.
I'm super excited about the Naija Super 8, Cecilia, because as you said, it's very important for players, particularly this season where we had the abridged league, so clubs can, get busy, so fans can have football to still talk about. For our teams going on the continent, they'll have an opportunity to compete at the Naija Super 8. It's a good one. Let's also not forget that this one is good for repositioning football in Nigeria, for community football development, for people to understand why we must sponsor football and, just carry everybody along from the academies to the NNL, to the NLO, to the MPFL. I think it's very good for the development of league football in Nigeria. I'm looking forward to see how do we get off with this one, and then we can assess them, Cecilia.
All right, let's get confirmation of the games that were played today. And of course, the team representing Southwest, Remo Stars, no surprise, beating Shooting Stars by 3-0. They are still, actually, on what happened in the Super 6, they are telling everyone that, yes, they're still the team to beat. Remo Stars against Shooting Stars, it ended 3-0. So they will be representing the team from the Southwest. Remember, you're going to be having 8 teams at the end of when you have all the playoffs done. This is the Zona playoffs. And from the North Central, Lobby Stars will be the one representing North Central because they beat City FC by 4-3. That's on penalties after it ended 2-all regulation time. So from the North Central and the Southwest, we already have the teams that will be representing those zones. So we'll be waiting for the South-South, of course, the North-East, and you know how it is, just 8 teams, 2 are slots filled already. So you need another 6 to complete. Remember, they also have, what do you call it? The wild card, the teams that will take the wild card. Someone's saying, should they be maybe Lagos City because of the fan base, or maybe Rangers International. Well, we don't know the team that they will be giving that wild card, but you have so many teams competing. Austin, were you surprised by Remo Stars' performance against Shooting Stars, like 3-0? They were basically shut down.
I'm not surprised, Remo Stars, they're on a roll. People that don't follow this team will not understand how good they are, the quality, the consistency they keep showing. I think it was right after match day 12, that incident with Gombe United in Ikene, Remo Stars put on the fire, and then when they went all the way, winning games away from home, and then they were also consistent back home in Ikene, sealed their place in the Super Six. They saw the need of going back to the continent. Look, you need to calm down and see the work that this club they are doing, from top management to infrastructure development to the training and retraining of their coaches. When you watch Remo Stars play under coach Daniel Ogumode, they start their attack from defense. If it was Manchester City, now everybody will be shouting, oh, wow, Pep is a genius. Coach Daniel is doing it with Remo Stars, and the team is getting better match after match. So, no disrespect to Shooting Stars, but with the firepower in Remo Stars at the moment, and we know this is zonal playoff, and as I said, clubs are using this one to prepare for the continent. Remo Stars are going on the continent, the CAF Champions League this time around, so they're not messing around. They will use this to prepare. Eimba will also go to the Africa Super League, remember? They will use it to also prepare, but to land properly and find peace at home, Cecilia, if you're looking for who to give the wild cards to, give it to Aqua United.
I know that. All right, we're not just alone on this show because it's a Friday and Shegun Vincent is right here in the studio. He will be joining us. Shegun, it's good to have you on a Friday night.
It's good to have you too. I thought you won't introduce me again. Yeah, me and Austin. Happy birthday to Austin. I wasn't around to the wish Austin happy birthday, but it's good to be back on the show, basically.
Yeah, great to have you. You're following the Naija Super 8, so it seems gradually we are having, it's actually making sense now. You're having Remo Stars there, you're sure of that, and of course having Lobby Stars there.
Yes, I think yesterday or so, the coach of Remo Stars was saying that they're going to maintain their unbeaten record against Shooting Stars. I think they are 2v6, at least 2 wins and 4 draws. So making 3 wins and 4 draws. So I think that they've kept their end of the bargain, and everybody likes ice cream, both the young and the old. So I feel like Remo Stars are shooting for all the Blazing Stars. Probably want to win the Super 8, knowing that a lot of money involved there. We saw Lobby Stars and City FC, Lobby Stars too. We saw what happened in the league last season. They had their ups and downs, and then drew again today. I really hope that they can do something more in the other games to come. This is just one part of the game. I think we're going to have games tomorrow, and let's see how it pounds out for the other games that we play tomorrow. And hopefully we'll get, of course, we're having exciting games. We've seen the likes of Remo Stars and Shooting Stars, great goals there. Lobby Stars and City FC. That is no goalless draw. So goalless draws are usually very boring. Not how many chances have been created. So let's see how it pounds out for them tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, a great one there for Remo Stars. And of course, we can take a look at, we have games that will be played on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, those are the games to actually conclude the games that will be played. There you have it. Yobe Stars and Gombe United from the Northeast. They'll be in action on Saturday. And of course, on Sunday, Southeast, that's where we're having Eimba and Heartland. Eimba already getting ready for that. Then let's move over to Sunday, the games that we have for Sunday to conclude that. From the Northwest, you have Kano Pillars and Katsina United. And South-South, of course, you're having Rivers United and Bendel Insurance. I know this is a game that everyone would be looking forward to. Katsina and Kano Pillars, another big game from the North. But on paper, you could easily say Kano Pillars, or you really can't say that. But Rivers and Bendel Insurance, Austin, when you check what Rivers United actually did to Bendel Insurance in the Super Six, they just concluded, you will know that yes, it's not going to be an easy one. They were the ones that ended Bendel Insurance unbeaten run, and Bendel Insurance are fresh from that celebration, of the Federation Cup that they just won. So they will be back again on the field playing the Naija Super 8.
You see why I told you I love this one. It's good for community football development. And Bendel Insurance, they would like to, see ways that they can tell Rivers United some things, into their ears. Say, look, that's unbeaten run. We actually love it. The media was saying good things about us, and then you made us look like we don't deserve it. So it'll be some good game of football, and I hope that it will be done with fair play. I want to see what Rivers United can also do, get themselves up there, the sort of momentum that they need to get into the continent, and Bendel Insurance also going to the continent. You're as good as your last match, Cecilia. I don't care if the competition is, one small one. The media, we use it to talk about you. It's all data mining. So both teams will come out and do their best to see ways to get you and I talking as regards the Naija Super 8. But I love this one so much, and I hope to see quality football when Bendel Insurance and Rivers United clash.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Just a quick one to wrap this up. Bendel Insurance and Rivers United, Canopilas and Katsina. I mean, these are games you want to watch any day, anytime.
Yeah, Bendel Insurance and Rivers United. Rivers United ended the unbeaten run in Super 8. So probably is it going to be a bounce back? Is it going to be a fight back? Is it going to be a deja vu? Is it going to be, are they going to want to take their pound of flesh? And our experience trying to want to fight back in that kind of regard, we can make you lose on both ends. So I feel like Bendel Insurance has to put your head in the game, how to play against Rivers United, and say I pass that for them. Of course, we have a battle playing tomorrow, and they are coming from the back of one them winning doing the MPFL. They should probably taking the trophy home like Man City, But sorry for that anyway. But I feel like probably they know how to play games like this. They're more like a championship team. They're like the Madrid of the MPFL. They're the Madrid of such competitions. They are winning. They have their winning mentality. They of course they're integrated with the high level of fans and all of that. So let's say I found out for Aimba United, and hopefully we'll have more interesting games, and of course we won't be having 0-0s.
You just want the goals to start coming in. That's what the fans want to see. All right, talking about goals, and of course the teams are celebrating victory. We'll be going to Bayelsa State, where the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Daniel Igali, will be joining us on the program to tell us what they intend to do with Bayelsa Queens. Remember last time they were on the continent. They went to the regional qualifiers. They were able to book a ticket representing WAFU B and went, to the CAF Champions League. But somehow they couldn't go past the group stage. At least they had a better outing than what Rivers Angels did the last time. So Daniel Igali will join us and tell us what they want to do differently. They didn't win the league this time around, but they retained the Federation Cup that they won the last time, beating, of course, Rivers Angels. That's a rivalry that has been on for a very, very long time. Honorable Commissioner, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me on your program this evening.
So tell us, Bayelsa Queens, I know you were really excited, immediately they won the trophy. You had to dedicate it to those fans who lost their lives when they came to support, Bayelsa Queens in the Super 6, on their way home. And I mean, it was a tragedy that people really don't want to remember or talk about, but that happened, and of course you have to dedicate that trophy to those who lost their lives. Of course, all the fans are supporting Bayelsa Queens all through the season. So for Bayelsa Queens this season, what did Bayelsa State did right, and what are the things you guys want to improve on to ensure that you have a better team coming next season?
Well, thank you for that. We have a very solid team. We qualified for the finals of both the Super 6 and the FA Cup finals. It was a narrow 2-1 victory for Edo Queens, for Delta Queens, and I hope they can represent the country as we expect of them. Of course, last year when we represented the country, for the first time we won the WAFU Zone B, and even went on to become third place winners. We're bronze medalists at the African level. And our goal was this year to go and surpass that expectation. We wanted to win the cup at the African level, but of course we were not able to scale through. But we did retain the FA Cup, which is the Tingo Cup now. And that just shows that we have a plan in place. To get to the finals of both tournaments means that you have a solid team. But one of the things I really want to point out for the NFF is that there should be something winning the FA Cup means for the female football teams. Right now, we won a cup. Big deal. We won a cup. We're coming back to Bayelsa with a cup, but we're not representing the country. So the NFF needs to look at a way to lobby other FAs in Africa to ensure that FA Cup winners all over Africa are able to represent their countries at some level, at the continental level.
That would be a big job for CAF to do because they can't even accommodate so many teams right now. I think Austin is in London. He will need to ask you some questions. Austin, over to you on this one.
Daniel Igali, good to have you on the show. Congratulations. Yes, I'm sure the NFF, they're jotting down. We like that you're giving them this charge. Then we need to do more for women's football, and that's what FIFA is doing at the global level. So CAF must key in. They must find a way to also get the women busy. Cecilia just talked about the zonal for the Super 8. The men, they are busy after the league. So I totally agree with you. We must find something for the women. But let's bring it back to Bayelsa State. You guys got us talking at the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival. You didn't stop. You kept on the momentum. Got us talking at the Delta National Sports Festival. When we talk wrestling, Bayelsa, #1. Men's football, you stunned us with Bayelsa United. I think last year or 2 years ago, they went to the continent. The women are back-to-back champions of the Federation Cup. You got to educate us tonight. What is Bayelsa State doing right?
Bayelsa State has a former commissioner for youth and sports who is the governor. His Excellency Senator Idiri, who has worn the shoes, knows where it pinches, and has done everything possible for the athletes generally to do well, and particularly for the footballers. Of course, even Bayelsa United had been in the doldrums. We're in the lower league for about 7 years. And with the advent of His Excellency Senator Idiri in the saddle as governor of Bayelsa State, we have now come into the first division. We're now in the Premier League and have survived relegation. And this year, we're open to fight for continental places. What has happened in Bayelsa is the governor assembling the team that works very well, that is knowledgeable, that understands what sports is. And it's not just that he has a team, it's that the governor puts the funds. There's one thing in talking about performance, about results, and one thing in matching it up with the funds. And the governor has done very well. In fact, I can tell you, even Bayelsa United, our male team, I don't see any other team in the country that is better remunerated than our male team. And in terms of our female team, I don't even think any other team comes close in terms of how we take care of them. So that's what has happened. Now we're looking forward to next year. We want to ensure that we get back into the league, win the league, and represent the country. That's our goal for Bayelsa Queens.
I love it, and I just hope not just state governments, the ministry, the federal government, I hope that they will listen, put the right people in places so that they can perform. You cannot take a farmer to do the job of an engineer. Daniel Igali, tell me about these girls. How are you guys going to keep them together? I like them. They have good quality. Just look at that run that led to the victory. Just look at how Bayelsa Queens have been able to prove a point, beating Rivers Angels, our rivals. How do you keep this team together so that the performance level doesn't drop?
Well, that would be a job for the coaches to do. Of course, the technical team has a lot of work to do. Yes, we won the FA Cup back-to-back, but this year we were not able to retain the Super 6. We didn't win the national trophy. So the job for them now will be to ensure that, yes, we keep a good crop of the team we have now, and also ensure that we have some reinforcements. Positive reinforcements so that next year we can go the whole hog. But I want to mention something. I am really very happy with what I'm seeing with female football. Right now, you have some very solid teams. You have Rivers Angels, you have Delta Queens, you have Edo Queens, you have Bayelsa Queens, you have Naija Retos, you have Robo Queens. In fact, each of these teams, each of them can win the league. So it's becoming more competitive. You have a lot of foreigners in the league now. Everybody is scouting for some of the best players, not only in Nigeria, but all over Africa. And I just hope to see female football do well. And I hope to see the NFF support female football. Because if you look at all other sports too, You look at the Olympics, you look at medals who are winning, it's female that are winning medals for us. So let's not subjugate female football to the backgrounds. Let's ensure that we give them the needed support so that we can start competing as we expect them in Africa and at the international level.
You are preaching, Daniel Igali, and I love it. So we will not send you away now. I'll keep you because I know Cecilia loves everything you're talking about. Even at the Commonwealth Games, Nigeria won a record 11 gold medals, all of them won by the female athletes. Let's go on this quick break now. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. When we come back, we'll talk more with Daniel Igali. Don't go anywhere. Hey.
Yeah, welcome back from that short break. Yes, we still have Daniel Igali with us. He is the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Bayelsa State. Before we went on the break, you talked about NFF support for the women's team, especially Nigerian Women's League. We've seen across Africa how they're pumping so much money into it. But NWFL seems to be a board that is running on its own, clubs of funding and everything. We don't have that separate funds coming from the NFF or even the sports ministry. What are the things you will advise them to do to make the league more viable? Because we keep playing like how many games a season, 14, which is really not too many. Because why? Financially, most of the clubs can't really afford to do that.
Well, I think the NFF needs to do more. I think with more effort, they can get more funding. I mean, look at sports generally in Nigeria. It's only football. Football is the only sport that can get funding from corporate partners, from the federal government, virtually from every nook and cranny you look. Football can get it together. So I think if the NFF wants to get female football, or pay more attention to female football, we can get the funds necessary for female football to thrive, and that is what they need to do.
It's simple. They know what to do to be able to achieve that. I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us tonight on the program.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
All right, I mean, it's all about women's football and all. But then let's leave that and quickly go to this one. Bendel Insurance, of course, you're still celebrating the title that they won. You know, I mean, when you're waiting for something for so long, 43 years, you're able to get it. You also want to keep celebrating it. And that's why the chairman of the club, who happens to be Deputy Governor of Edo State, has been talking about the things they did right this season. And of course, what they intend to do going into the continent next season. Let's take a listen to him.
We came in this season from the lower league, and we actually plan to sustain the tempo and remain in the league. Our plan was to now consolidate our position in the league, and next year we now start fighting for laurels. But we saw ourselves playing hard to consolidate, and in the course, we saw ourselves topping the league. And so it was a deliberate act to just make sure we play and remain in top flight, because we didn't want what happened the last time to happen to Bendel Insurance. And so we prepared hard, and our preparation was to tackle the big teams that will be meeting in the league. And that first match with Aqua United actually gave us that confidence that yes, we can go beyond just remaining in the league and target the trophy. And fortunately for us, we played the league all through unbeaten in the first stanza, and we won our group and to qualify for Super 6. So I would say it was a success, and knowing fully well that these boys were playing every other day, playing FA Cup and playing the league simultaneously, because everything was just going together. So the boys really put in all, because it is not easy to play every other day, different states, and playing same competition. It's not easy. I was a footballer, I understand what it means. And that is why I was praying hard for God to give them the energy to finish the league, because fatigue was already setting in. We are already planning with the technical team to beef up our team. We are already working hard, both from the feeder team and from external. we're already working hard. And interestingly, we're already in contact and discussing already. We are sending people to bring people that are out of contract, some of them to add value and to bring experience to the team, because we need some young players which we'll be getting from our feeder team, and we need some experienced players within the country. And we're also looking at ex-internationals that are out of contract now in Europe and Saudi. We're trying to bring some of them back. The likes of Igali is one of those we're already targeting, and we already sent contact to him, and we pray that people like that coming into Bendel Insurance will not only give it experience, will not give the team only experienced players, but exposure, because we are going now into continent, and continental games are not games that you take for granted, because the feeling is different and the experience counts. So we are going to be having a mixture of feeder team and experienced player within the league, and also players that have gone with outside Nigeria playing continental games to be in Bendel Insurance. So we are looking forward to another season, not just a season of unbeaten, but a season of more laurels.
Interesting, more laurels. That's what they're anticipating and also looking forward to. Shegun, to me, you were smiling when you were listening to him, saying the right thing at the right time, because you always want to celebrate when you're successful.
Of course, and when you are successful, you want to pop the champagne, you want to drink everything you can drink, because like they say, you have to enjoy the moment before you move to the next moment, because but you can't still keep sticking to the same moment. You have to keep forging ahead, so you tend to relax and strategize and plan. Bendel Insurance were hustled on fire. We saw what happened. We saw what they did in the MPFL league. They were unbeaten. Of course, they went a bit cold during the season. Couple of draws, a run of draws, and it happens to every team that every team must go through a dark patch or a rough patch during the course of the season, and it's just how they bounce back up. Of course, they got to the Super Six, and they did what they could do, but Enyimba was just better than everybody. He was better than everybody, but. When winning the trophy for the first time for 3 years, I think that's the third Federation trophy they're winning in their history. This is a good turn in that direction, because for you to win the big trophies, start winning the quote-unquote the smaller trophies. So this can propel them to winning the MPFL probably next season with some more investment. Of course, we are also discussing before the break as regards them boosting the squad, adding more players, of course, better organization, administration. Of course, they've done a couple of things here and there to just harness the team and push. They set forth in that direction. Them, Remo Stars, a couple of other teams, Rivers United. These are teams that showed forth some level of administrative-wise. Even Rivers Angels, Bayelsa Queens, we saw their senior level of administration and how they are moving towards the direction. And I think this is a bedrock or a bit of to which other teams can look for, and now they can set up their own administration and push as not just a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, or a 3-year plan, or a 4-year plan, 5-year plan that they can announce, and they can still continue to plan as regards that. So a good result for them, no doubt. And let's say a panzer for them next season, because they cannot keep relying on the laurels that they won this season.
Austin, there was something that he said about having Igali, playing for the Bendel Insurance. Oh, they feel like just having a star like that, after the contract expires in Saudi, you want to come home and Bendel Insurance will be the team he will want to pick. That's what I'm picking from all the things he said.
I don't blame you for picking that, because it's good for the league.
Yeah.
And this is what we've always talked about, that let's make our league admirable. Let it operate with international standards, and you bring people back home to play football. I listened to Finidi George saying his ex-colleagues need to come back home in coaching capacity to improve the league. Now the deputy governor and Edo State, they are thinking, okay, how can we make this club so good that top players in Europe can come back home to rest? Interestingly, I listened to Odion Igali in a recent interview saying, even if he comes into the league, he will not come to play for money, but that he's coming to play so that the league can get visibility and international acceptance. He has played for several clubs in Europe. He has played for Watford right here in England. He has played for Manchester United in England. He's a global star. Imagine him coming back, the kind of traction it will give to the league. But he said something that I like. He said he needs to be sure that his life will be secured, that the league will not be biased, particularly with officiating. Cecilia, aren't these the things we talk about every night on this show?
Of course.
That we must position and brand the league in a way that it can be seen as business and bring people in. So for Johnny Hello and other superstars that are in Europe now or abroad playing football to come back home, there must be some level of semblance with what they have in Europe when they come back to play for any club in Nigeria.
All right, that's the thing. I think we need to listen to the coach of the team now, Mode Odige, also talking about proper officiating, of course, proper management, and then Bendel Insurance will be one of the team tidbits next season.
Yes, I would say it was a very good performance for the season. You know, success to me is the end of every battle. You know, so I want to say the season that just ended was really very, how will I put it, was a very good one for Bendel Insurance. Good one because for a team that came into the league for the first time and fought very well to be able to be among the front runners. So I think it was a very good performance from us. In terms of expectations, I am not a coach who works with expectation. I just work one day after the other and see how far our ability can take us. All you need to do is have a positive mindset, which is what we're going to try and do. Technically, the areas where the team will need to be fortified will be given attention, and like the strength, we'll also continue to work on our strengths. So I think good or take, it's a good thing because the feeling right now is good in the state. And every player, every coach understands that it can be less than this. Officiating, I'm not a coach who wants to talk about officiating because it's part of the game. Every team should hope for a fair officiating. When it doesn't come, you should be ready for it because it's part of the game. These referees are human beings. That's it. So we also have to play on that. So you have to play like, hey, if it doesn't go your way, you have to keep fighting. That's why you need to remain disciplined and try not to, you know, do things that will make you, you know, go into the books. So we know about all this, and this will also form our preparation for the coming season. The management did what it has to do. I mean, hey, remunerations, number one, it comes as at when due. When the boys win games, they get bonuses for winning. When they play draw away from home, they get, you know. So these are motivating enough for the players. But the most important motivation is the intrinsic one, the one that comes from inside of every player, the coaches, and then that's what we intend to work on. You know, like we say, look at the big teams in Europe. Some teams are being called to books now because outrageous money has been spent in trying. They want to make sure everything is okay. Football has to be, you know, entertaining and developmental. It's not what you should go and do cash and carry with. So the management of Bendel Insurance has done very, very well in bringing the team to where it is right now. I just will say they shouldn't go down. They shouldn't go less. They should not rest on their oasis, and I'm sure the boys will also try to put in their best, which I pray to God will be good enough to bring dividends at the end of the season.
It's so simple. Do the right thing, and of course, our success will follow. All right, let's touch down on basketball, Austin. I mean, the NBA draft, we didn't have so many Nigerians like we had last time. You know, not every time you get to see that, but the buzz was all about Victor Wembanyama, the French, 90-year-old French guy. But then one Nigerian, James Naji, was also drafted, 31 second-round pick. But all eyes obviously are on Victor because of what he's bringing. But for James, remember the controversy that happened race season in Barcelona. He played for Barcelona across 27 games. I mean, during just this season, he's 6'11", he's a big man. He averaged 4.9 PPG, of course, 67 field goal shooting, which was really remarkable. But the man of the moment, Victor, that everyone has been talking about, I mean, this is a guy who is a 7'3". I mean, when you mean 7'3", I mean, he's a rim protector, his long arms to block, and of course, having the way. He can do all in courts. I mean, Vincent, let me come to you here. When you have a guy who can score in the paint, I mean, rebound, go down, and also not just that, having to step out, from the perimeter, 3-point shooter. I mean, it's all. He's 7, and before this draft, apart from LeBron James in 2003, according to the report, he is the second person now that people have been talking even before he was drafted. Remember, LeBron was drafted straight from high school. So when you're having a 19-year-old like that from France, being drafted #1, San Antonio Spurs. Last time they had these drafts, I mean, they literally ruled the NBA. David Robinson, remember, 1987. Tim Duncan, 1997. I mean, when these guys were drafted as #1, of course, both of them are, Hall of Famers right now for San Antonio Spurs. Of course, went to win an NBA championship.
So, college people, what they call first talent. So, from college, go to stadium basketball, to that to the NBA. We look at Victor, for example, he's a two-way player. Yeah. Sometimes you might not find guys that his height, but you meet two-way players. He's athletic because the likes of Porzingis, the likes of the current MVP that won the MVP finals, his name skipped my head now. It's not Jokic is not as athletic as he is. For as a 19-year-old, he's still going to have a lot to improve in his game, but he has handles. He can do something like, remember what Ben Simmons in his A-days, I don't know what happened to him, maybe a spiritual problem. He has great handles, great, he can shoot, can play on the paint, he can do all of that, and as a 19-year-old. And there's more to come from this guy, and it's not at his peak, because basketball, I think you pick from your probably 25, 26, 27, that's his peak age, so he has like 5-6 years to play and win. And how else will he pick in this game? He's not to play on that sports under the famous Greg Popovich. Yeah. And I think he's going to learn the basic, the fundamentals of basketball, because what Greg is. Yeah. He's very, very strong on fundamentals, strong on players' growth. And sports, they're not your ideal team that was they will win the playoffs, they will win the NBA championship, and then it's a good one for him, that. And let's see how for him in the future.
We'll see. I mean, Spurs last season, it was 22-60. They won 22 games, lost 60. I think that when you're having a boy who can actually do it all on court, that means he's a steal for the San Antonio Spurs opportunity to have the #1 draft pick. Austin, your thoughts on this before we leave the show?
Yeah, I think we've said so much about Victor, and the French media did a great job, in even talking about him before, he became the #1 pick for the San Antonio Spurs. So congratulations to him and good luck. But I want to focus on my Nigerian brother, James Naji. While everyone is talking about Victor, it's okay. But this is a guy that I believe can come into the NBA, stay focused, learn from some Nigerians that have done so well, and give himself a good name. Though the 31st pick for the Charlotte Hornets, but he's just 19. He's going to turn 19 in August. And he has averaged some good points right there in Barcelona, Spain before, this. So he can keep believing in himself. He can do things that will make people talk about him. I mean, this is the NBA. This is the biggest stage ever. And this is the only Nigerian we're talking about. So he can actually be the difference. So I'm rooting for James Naji. Can't wait to see him come out, do his thing, and then make Naija proud. Cecilia, with that, I think that's a good way for me to, pack my load and go tonight. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, Vincent, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. Hopefully, by God's grace, next week we'll see. Same time, same place.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great weekend.